Call the February meeting of the Natural Resources Committee to order. And Brandon, can you do roll call?
Harrow,
Here.
Schoonover, McKee,
Here.
Hendricks, Perry, Fleming. You have 4 for a quorum, sir.
Great, thanks. And did we get the meeting posted for open meetings? Well,
You'll be posted correctly, sir.
great. Any questions or changes on the minutes? And there's 2 more. If there's no corrections or changes, the minutes will say they're agreed as.
Steve,
Yeah.
you have to approve the agenda first. You approve the agenda.
Okay, let's do that. Let's get them out.
Okay.
Can I have a motion to approve the agenda as listed?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Second by Fleming. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
No,
Now. Public comment?
I voted no.
Okay. There was one no.
On the agenda?
On the agenda. Yeah.
Pardon?
On the agenda.
Okay. Anybody online with public comment? Anybody in here? Okay, on to positions for zoning.
Okay. Our first petition is a rezone in Richwood. It's currently 13 acres correctly zoned ag residential. They are splitting off about 2.9 acres to go to residential that has the house and sheds and things on it. And then the remaining acreage is actually being zoned back to ag forest. That will adjoin additional ag forest lands that the owner has as well. So he's looking to go back to ag forest to use that for additional pasture space on his farm.
And that's why there's 2 separate ordinances with that one, because it's hard to put it in one ordinance. So that way it's cleaner that way, keep it separate.
I always have a hard time with the aerials, figuring out what parcels we're looking at.
Yeah, so, on the first, that's the other petition. That's the other petition there, sorry. We have them backwards in there.
I was going right way. Just down.
Sorry.
I thought that's, I scanned when you had them in there.
Can you check the other one? See if it- Yeah. Okay, this is the one that's on the agenda first. Is the split and new zone. So can you go down to the map in this one? There we go. So where I have it marked out here, this green ag res parcel, it's kind of an odd shape. And then if you scroll down to the next image, the top should be, yep, so it's zoomed into the top part there where just the buildings are. So that's the part that's getting split to residential, and then all of that pasture land below will be ag forest.
Okay, so we're doing 7B first then.
I don't know, I scanned them.
It's A on the agenda. It's the Richwood Township.
Well, just on the agenda, that's agenda item 7B then.
I don't know what happened. I didn't put them in that way. I thought I'd have them labeled correctly.
I looked at the agenda and saw that one.
I had them in there the correct way. I don't know what happened. No, I scanned them to put them in 787. But I had them labeled correctly. I can't go to the committees. I can't get into the committee folder. Let's do the whatever, the one that you brought up first, the two split. I thought I put them in there correctly, gave them, put them in the.
It doesn't matter which is A or B, I just trying to keep
Yep.
keep up.
Yeah, it's listed as A on the agenda. It's the Ridgewood Township split. The
Yeah,
other one,
okay, okay.
so 2 parcels.
So, need a motion to, approve that petition.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Ms. Fleming and Mr. McKee, discussion? Was that clear? They're gonna leave, even though it's small, 35 acres, it's adjacent to all the rest of the cropland, so it'll still be ag. Right?
Yep, so.
Any other questions or concerns? Okay, let's vote. All those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
So the other one then is, Buena Vista Township. And that one is two parcels right now. The previous owner owned 4 parcels that were around 50 acres plus, so it was all ag forest. He sold some to an adjoining landowner to the south, but this portion, is gonna be 22.34 acres. It's just 2 tax parcels. So the new buyer wants it to be rezoned to ag residential. I think he's planning on maybe putting a pole building there and keeping animals there. Potential house in the future, but no plans for that right now.
Okay, and they have their own zoning,
No, Buena Vista doesn't.
but they don't.
No,
All right, so we gotta do it ourselves. So can you pull that aerial up also?
Scroll down at the map. So Highway 60, this is in Gotham. Highway 60 goes out across the river there.
Yeah,
And this is on Fulton Street. There's 2 parcels that are highlighted there. So it does actually come up to Fulton Street there. But it's just all the land, vacant land right now.
everybody see that? Okay, all right,
So now, so it's all of the, in the picture in ours, it's all of that green area? That's what you're talking about? Or where is it
Where else
at?
is it?
Everything northwest of
there was a script in the.
the baseball field there.
These blue lines outline, so this is the 1 parcel outline. And then this second parcel, if you can kind of see the blue lines up there, go along 60, down along Fulton and back to here.
So the one on the west is the one that's being rezoned.
This both.
Okay, so where it says Town of Buena Vista right over there to the right, that's the park?
That is the park, yes.
Okay.
Yep, so it's the land.
And it's gonna be all of that behind it we're talking about?
Correct, all the way up to Highway 60.
Okay. And there's a section that they want to put a residence on potentially, is that?
They may in the future, but they don't have the plans to right now. He just wants to put a pole building there for farm animals, I believe.
A motion again on this one.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. McKee makes a motion. Ms. Fleming said second. Okay, discussion, although we kind of already talked about it. Looks like they're doing everything right. Any questions, comments from the committee? All right, let's vote. All those in favor of approving this petition, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Reports. We've been back and forth with the attorney for updates to our ordinance. We had some questions that we sent as well as far as clarifying items, you know, what is our authority here? How do we enforce this kind of questions? And they have not gotten their review back to us yet. We threw kind of a lot of things at them right away. They're also looking over the short-term rental ordinance. It's a developing area of law. It's, you know, new things are changing.
So we may be coming back with some changes.
Yeah, we may have some updates to that as they look through that. The violations, they've been helping with the one for Menno Schmucker. And that suit has, Menno Schmucker.
That's the one
is
we talked
gentleman's
about that
name.
had they built the house and they put in some kind of, there's no septic,
They had a
Flake
permit
room.
for greenhouse and they built a house and put their own septic in. So that suit was filed last week. So we'll see what comes of that. We're asking that he get everything in compliance, get the correct permits and get everything inspected. And basically if he refuses, then we can issue an abatement, which would require him to knock it down. We don't really want to go that route if we don't have to. We'd like to just get people in compliance, so. We've sent out a couple of other violation letters recently on some things and people are mostly responsive. There was a camper parked in a residential driveway in Sextonville. We've talked with them and they're in the process of figuring out where else to put it. And we've also talked with the gentleman on the edge of town. There's a lot of fill placed in the floodplain.
What?
There's a lot of fill
North-
placed in the
going out
floodplain
of town north.
Okay.
on Highway 80, just before you get to Lions Park. There's a lot of fill that he stored there in the floodplain, and we're working on getting him to remove that as well. Either he needs to get an H&H study done to show that what he's doing is not going to increase issues with flooding, you know, change the floodway, or he needs to remove it, so.
And how was that identified?
Oh, we got a call from the city because we're the ones responsible for any floodplain phase. So it was a call from the city.
Okay.
I put in the admin folder, wanted the list of all the permits for building and sanitary. I put those in the admin folder for you.
Thank
to
you.
look. Noel sent out the non-metallic mining reports. I think we're still missing prairie sand and gravels reports. We're checking into it. And tied to the non-metallic mining, to go into the mines to inspect, yeah, you need to have it's called Mining Safety and Hazard Administration training to be able to do that.
MSHA.
That's
MSHA.
fraud training,
Yep.
yeah.
And so he did it online. And then the end of this month, we worked with Josh Elder. They have an in-person training, so Derek's gonna go to that.
Yeah, so basically I have the training to do it now. I'm certified to do it. But I'm also just gonna go to the classes with Josh up at the highway department just to get the extra training and just that's their yearly 8-hour
Required training.
required training anyway, so when they're just to do that again, just to be good, so.
The middle of March, Noel, I and Jen are going to what's called the county staff training for basically septics, sanitary. I went last year and learned a lot, and so the three of us are going. It's just an overnight. We've been entering the permits into Catalyst. I think the soil tests are all in. Didn't all get all those in, I think.
I think electric does.
Electric, okay. And then Jen's been working on getting land use permits. I don't know where she's at with those.
I'm through 1987, started in 1966. So I've got about a third of the years done, but as you get later, there's more permits per year. So
And I've done a few, I've done most of the getting the septics in. We started with the ones that are supposed to be the 3-year maintenance ones. They're supposed to be reported this year, sending those out. And there's like 1,000, there's 1,365 of those. I've gotten 689 in, about halfway done with that. It's just a long process. That's just like a third of them. Then then we get done with them, we'll do the 27, we'll do the 28, and we should have everything in except then we have to also do the holding tank ones. So it's just a long process getting all this stuff entered into Catalyst. It's been a lot easier if we could have imported in, but yeah.
But once they're in,
The county, we've got a new unified dwelling code inspector. It's the GEC out of Portage. We met with one of the main guy there, Mike Parrott. Jen and I met with them and they're setting up a system for us to get like any new housing construction sent over to him for inspections.
GEC out of Portage.
Yep. And then we just hired a new county surveyor. Trish signed the agreement last week. It'll be Steve Alt out of, from Team Engineering out of Reedsburg. It's Reedsburg, right? Yeah. And
What's the
so
last name?
Alt. And so he wants to set up a time to meet with like Julie, Deb, and Ashley Mott. So Deb's gonna be gone on and off the next couple weeks. So she goes, don't worry about it. I'll meet with him when he comes in for his first office hours. So trying to set up a time with Julia and Ashley to meet with him, making sure we got everything set up. I met with Troy Maggie from Southwest Regional. We did and Natalie, I can't think of her last name, on updating the county's farmland preservation plan. And they're want to meet. Troy and Natalie are trying to set up a meeting with the Towns Association for the first one to talk to them, and then we'll be working on the plan as it goes. And Blue would like to be involved in it. They're not zoned, but they'd like to be involved in it because they're looking at setting up gonna do an ag enterprise area in their township, and they have to be part of the plan to be able to do that. So
And it's gotta be part of our county comprehensive plan, needs to.
the Bloom part doesn't, but everything else has to.
Right, right.
Yep.
Question, when I was looking at the current one, there's no maps in there for several of the townships. Do we know
Right.
where they're at?
They weren't developed for the plan.
Ever? Wow,
Well, some of them are like they're, if it's Bloom, Bloom and Rockbridge, Bloom and Sylvan, they're unzoned.
I knew that.
And then Ithaca and Rockbridge are town zones. We don't have their maps. So
There was not one in for Forest where I'm from, and I thought there would have been. I didn't see it.
I wasn't part of that process, so I have no clue why it wasn't in
Is
there.
it possible that at some point they were submitted to the state and they may have copies?
They may have, but this is all I've got. I mean, I asked the state for a copy and I've not, that's what they sent me.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't involved. I mean, even though it affected land conservation, I was not
Understood.
kept in the loop, let's put it that way.
The-
And trying to find things, files of people that are no longer here, I can't find everything.
I mean, without those township maps, the preservation plan doesn't really mean that much. So
They'll be in the new one, trust me.
I understand. I was wanting to see the old one, just to kind of get a handle on it.
I have no idea. If they're not in the things, I don't know where to find them.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We'll get her up to speed once Southwest.
That's my goal.
Are you going to the Land and Water Conservation?
Conference?
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be 4 of us going to that.
Good.
Jen will be at the office by herself, and so those 3 days, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the office will be closed over the noon hour. But otherwise, close enough, we're driving back and forth, so. don't think anything more for zoning.
Anything else? Nope.
Nope, I'm not on that one.
All right, Adam,
Well, I don't, that was just the zoning part, that wasn't the conservation part.
sorry.
That's okay. There is a new, it's not an official like through the state, but the new producer-led group, they did get a group started. It's called we'll have more on the Facebook page. It's called the Richland County Legacy Alliance. So Corey's been working with them. Their next meeting is at the Mill Creek Pub and Grill in Boaz, February 11th at 6 p.m.
What is that? I'm sorry.
It's called a producer-led group.
What kind of group?
Producer-led group.
Oh, okay.
And so the producers decide what they're going to do. And so
Okay.
this is the first step is starting to form, figure out what they're gonna do, what they're gonna emphasize. There has to be they have to come up with a 50% match to do the grant for it, but it's a start.
How always, whatever different ways is she using to get the word out?
Right now it's letters, to producers that, we put it on Facebook. I think there's a couple other emails. She's posted it a couple different places.
Okay,
Anastasia also has been doing that. It just came out in the Richland Ag newsletter
Yeah.
that they do. It's in there.
Yeah, that she's
we've got
working with
some
Anna.
advertising, through extension as well. So
Yeah.
something we've been working together on.
Yep. There is a nutrient management training, farmer training. She's got scheduled for here Friday, March 20th. People work on doing their own plans. We've got a couple people coming in. I think Anna's helping. Anastasia, why I'm saying Anna, I don't have to find. Anastasia is helping, Landon, Baumgartner, a couple other that are helping us do this training. Coming up in March, I'm gonna work with my staff. I had completed the annual land conservation report survey, what we did during the year. And then in April, I'll be bringing a staffing grant. Or maybe March, end of March, well, March, yeah. And then doing my work plan update for the land and water plan. What we're gonna do, and I think the discussion here on the number, is it 12? Yeah, 11. The land use section we can see what we can incorporate from that into the update on the land and water plan. I've submitted the grant reimbursements. We just received the staffing grant reimbursement for 2025. Waiting for the aquatic invasive species one to come in. I applied for the rest with wildlife damage for paying Greg. And then we had to get some materials for marking the Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program an easement. And we sent it for reimbursement for that. So I'm just waiting for those to come in.
lot going on.
Yeah. It's quiet time of year, but it's not quiet. Right, now I'm done,
Okay, all right.
unless you have something like talk about.
I know Steve and I have talked before about manure issues. There's two, possibly three that we're gonna be helping put in some practices to help them contain some manure runoff. Two of them were brought to our attention from neighbors and surrounding area people. So just doing stuff like that, like roof gutters and stuff like that under barns and stacking pads to help them stack it somewhere more feasible rather than letting it run off into the stream. So doing that. We have some stream bank projects also we got going on. That's like a pretty normal thing around here. We do have another dry dam, gonna be going in as well.
These are the phosphorus trade-offs.
No, that's not the phosphorus. That's just our regular cost share. We are still working with Boaz and Casanova on the water quality trading for the phosphorus runoff as well. We will be helping with that. I believe they're doing most of the surveying and stuff like that, but I'll be out helping like the construction part of it and helping with the as-built plans to get them signed off and sent back to Boaz and them as well.
Oh, for the new members, this is Derek Warner. He is our conservation technician that does the designs and construction for conservation practices. So he's been here, what, 3 years?
Yeah,
3.5 years.
3.5 years now. So, and as far as training, We talked about doing the M-Shaw with Josh as well. They're also doing a chainsaw training, so I'm doing that as well with them to be certified to do it. So that way, if they need help clearing any trees off trails at the Ash Creek public area or on our own dams and stuff like that, that we have to look over and maintain, then I'll be able to do it well. So
Chainsaw training is where, when?
it's with Josh at the highway department.
This month.
Yep, I think it's the 22nd and 23rd, I believe.
Great.
That's, I'm done. Now you go to Adam. Sorry, let me take up so much time.
All right, so I personally don't have a whole lot to share. I just wanted the first thing though, make you guys aware of that. Get Real Volunteers stuff has gone out. So if you haven't received an email about being a volunteer at Get Real,
I signed up yesterday.
thanks, Steve. Contact the extension office. The Get Real event will be March 19th this year, so a little bit earlier than it has been. But it's a really great event, and we always need lots of great volunteers. So if somebody's thinking about, please contact either Sarah or Jenny at the extension office. And with that, I'm going to turn my time over to Blake. As I told you guys last time, we have Blake with us, and she does some regional work with extension and community development. And hopefully you brought some questions for her.
Okay.
So Blake.
Hi, I'm Blake Roberts. It's nice to meet everybody. Thanks for letting me join today. Maybe I can just give, I don't know how much folks I should give an overview of sort of the position. Okay, so I joined Extension in August. And it's, as Adam said, a regional position that covers 4 counties. So it's Richland and then Crawford, Grant, and Lafayette counties. And it's focused on rural community economic development kind of broadly and really open-ended to try to be flexible and based on what different communities are looking for. So that's a huge opportunity and also a challenge because it's like, well, how do you, it really just depends on where there are folks asking for engagement. And it's a little bit different than some other extension positions because it's funded by a private donor. So there's no public money covering this position for 3 years. So it's time limited and really just trying to bring additional capacity to the region. I'm based in Lancaster, but yeah, all working across all 4 counties. And the beginning phase has been trying to meet different folks, and Adam's been really great, kind of helping me make connections and doing this sort of needs assessment or like just a lot of listening and hearing where there might be opportunity. So it's been really great so far. There are some things coming up that I'm interested in, and I think there's folks that would want to be partnering with, and I hear a lot about like housing is a really big one, and childcare. So thinking about how do housing and childcare support kind of economic growth or economic development overall, and those are areas I'm really interested in too. But I'd love, anyone that wants to connect or events going on, always would be happy to sit down and get coffee or anything and hear what's going on. So related to childcare, just as an example of like some of the things that I'm working on in Lafayette County, they really wanted to know more about, well, how bad is our childcare system now? How many providers do we have? Like, are they in-home? Are they center-based? How many slots are there? Is that more than what families need? Is that less? And how is that affecting business? So are businesses able to hire enough folks, and is childcare related to that anyway? So we're doing a survey there, both for parents and employers, to try to just understand just a little bit more and then bring in some other ways that that county can be addressing childcare. So that's like an example of one thing that can happen other places too. And then this past weekend, I've been working with the educator in Crawford County, and she's designed this really fantastic business development series for ag tourism. I have 3 of these that were left over from the weekend that I'll pass around if people want to just kind of look and see. Here, I'll just go like this. So this was geared towards existing like farms, producers, growers that want to add some sort of tourism component as a way to be diversifying revenue streams. And it's a 6-part training, so we had the first session, but people can still sign up for the other sessions if you know anybody that might be interested. So again, that's like another example of some programming and educational pieces that are happening. And that one's regional, it's not just for Crawford, it's for anyone in the region. Yeah. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Which counties was it again you're trying to cover?
Yeah, so here and then Crawford, Grant, and Lafayette.
Wow.
It's a little funky, yeah.
And I guess the reason I'm asking is, I mean, different counties, to one level or another, already have economic development efforts. How are you trying to coordinate or make sure you're not duplicating that kind of?
Yeah, exactly. So like I've met with Jason,
That's where,
yeah, exactly, for that exact type of, and he works so much on housing, I know, and so, yeah, it wouldn't make sense to duplicate anything. If partnering some way makes sense, or like in Grant County, their equivalent position, you know, sometimes he'll say, oh, I don't have time for this, like, can you help, or here's a project, you want to partner together? So hopefully kind of working hand in hand.
and you're prioritizing our county the highest, right?
I mean, for today, exactly. No, I think it really just depends on where people are interested and kind of open and wanting to partner. That really will drive it,
Right.
I say, yeah. And yeah, I think I met you at the Richland Resilience meeting where you, yeah, exactly. So that's the type of thing where like, there's folks engaged, right? Doing so much work. And is there something where you just need another body that can kind of expand, or yeah, they're creative.
So for at least 3 years anyway.
At least, yeah. I think the goal would be to hopefully find ongoing funding for that, but at this point, it's just 3 years.
Great, great.
I have a question. How would Richland County go about doing what Lafayette County is doing if they wanted to do the survey for the childcare in the area?
Yeah, I don't think it would be a huge lift, and I'd be super excited to work with whoever that might be interested. In Lafayette, so we have a survey that we developed in Lafayette, so it could just be copy and paste, or we could work with folks here to refine those questions that, you know, things that you want to know, find answers to. And how they're doing it is it's in partnership with their economic development office. And then figuring out how do we distribute it and get it to the right folks. So like they're putting it in the newspaper, and their economic development person is posting on social media and asking businesses. And then Extension is posting the platform with the website, with the survey, so we can collect all the data and then figure out how to share. So I'd be super excited if that was something folks here were interested in. That could be with Jason, or, you know, if there's other groups here, or the Extension, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, great. Thank you.
Are there, you know, kind of hit the health childcare thing, is there any areas, gaps in rural livability that you guys, right off the top of your head, might be, hey, this might be something to look at? We don't have anything going on right now, but something that to help like with her needs assessment as well. Just kind of quick toss in the back to you guys.
Did you say you did anything with the homeless situation?
Not in this, I haven't in this, but like in prior roles, yeah, do you want to say more? Is that something you think would be?
Because I didn't know if that was part of what you're doing.
Well, I think looking at housing broadly, and if there is an unhoused population, then that would yeah, I think that would fit really well if that's a need. Is that something that is?
Yeah, it's been a need, and it was on the radio this morning, the mayor was talking.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Community come up with a quick solution quickly, but we need long term.
Interesting. Is there one or two people that I should talk to learn more about that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk. to
Okay,
them.
yeah.
I'm involved.
Okay, I'll come find you afterwards. Yeah, and anyone else, I'd love to just chat and meet people, so hopefully we can connect more.
We contact you through extension then?
Yes, I will pass my cards around, yeah, through extension, so, yeah, and then I'm in Lancaster, but all over today, so.
Great, great.
There for a couple weeks, you're like, who is that person you had at the committee meeting? Adam, give me that contact
Yes,
information.
yes, definitely knows how to track me down. See if I can find some cards and then I'll pass them around. Thank you.
Ready for property listing?
We're ready for property listing. So the 2025 transfers are complete. They were complete last week. So now I'm currently working on 2025 splits for Henrietta, Marshall, Richland, and Ithaca. They currently do their splits that in 2026, 1 year behind. So we have to hold all of those, and then 2026, we need to get them to them January, February. So they can give me back all the assessed values so that we can put those in our system so that we're ready to go for the assessment rolls. The assessment rolls will go out the end of February, and they should have all the properties that have been sold and transferred in them. So, and all of the splits that have been done in this year, and the remaining 2025 splits. So everything should be ready to go, so that they can go out and assess those properties that have been split. We are going to the WLIA conference. So that's the Wisconsin Land Information Association conference. That'll be in the Dells on the 25th and 26th.
Noel's going with her.
I'm taking Noel with me. The first seminar is mapping and parcel splits, so that's pretty exciting. It is a day-long seminar for the whole day. We get to do that. And then the next day is breakout for several different categories. So we get to pick and choose. They're usually run about 45 minutes. So we will commute up to the Dells and then commute back every night. There's a couple banquets, and it's just really interacting with heirs and some of the other people that Esri will be there. They do our mapping. Heirs does our ortho photos, and some of the other different people there, and kind of networking to get to know somebody in case we have issues. We can interact with them. So that's a really good conference for us. There is a new county surveyor, which is exciting. And he lives in Richland County. So we're going to try to meet with him this week because Ashley and I are here. So we'd like to just kind of meet and greet with him to see how, we can interact with him. And we'd like to also see something put on the county board thanking Todd for all of his years of service as well. I mean, he was a wonderful mentor to me and answered a lot of questions. And it's sad that we lost him, but hopefully Steve will be another mentor and help us.
Has Steve been a surveyor for a county before?
He helps with Sauk County.
Sauk County? Okay.
That's all I have. Any questions?
Just a comment. Have you weighed the cost of traveling 2 times compared to a hotel room or motel room?
No, we haven't.
For your staff, because I'm a real believer in conferences, and you get a lot more out of it, understand? Just the way it is.
Yeah, I understand. I think my understanding was if there's so many
Yeah,
instances of Richland Center, we can't stay.
yeah, I think it's in the handbook that if we're within certain mileage that we have to commute, but we can review that. So. Yeah, cause it's
Wow.
great.
People think it's a lark, and it's not. Go to work. You get just a tremendous amount of information.
Yeah, and I've met with Esri, and Esri has an open format where they have all their computers set up to mapping. And you can go in and you can do a set, which takes you 20 minutes to do a set, but you learn so much within that set. Plus, there's a guide there too, if you get hung up on something that you're doing, and you really can't break anything. I mean, I can do anything I want to that map and he has to fix it, so it's not like the map here.
Now, you mentioned the second day breakout sessions,
Yes,
so you get to pick what you want
yes.
to look at.
There's 15 to 20 of them, and then they have a vendor fair, so there's close to 35 vendors there that you can talk with. And we usually end up going through and meeting a bunch of different people and just seeing what they have to offer. Panda is there and they do actual training for GIS. So I like to touch base with him every time I'm there. I mean, just to see what's new in the world, and he's based out of Florida, but he does that virtually, so.
One of the great things about conferences is meeting up with the people you saw last year or the year before and exchanging info and
Yeah. And about
very good.
half of the property listers go to this WLIA. So I see a lot of them because a lot of them are also doing GIS work. So I get to meet with them, and then also with like AIRS and Esri. Those are two of our really big people that we interact with. And AIRS has helped us with the NG 911 grant several times to get money for our orthos and different things. So they're a valuable partner.
Good luck.
Thank
Have a good time.
Will MSA be there?
They're usually not there as a vendor, but they're their presenter, or we see them. Yep. That's all I had.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. All right, let's see here. I guess talk about deer.
Talk about deer. We need to approve the one claim we have for damage this year. You should have gotten a little note in your packet. It's for Mike White, and his claim, his final payment will be $3,158.50. To approve that.
Need a motion. All right. Ms. Fleming moved and Mr. Perry second. And is that unusual to only have one claim?
It's been getting less because the program has two facets to it now. When you're doing a claim, you have to allow public hunting. But you can get shooting permits and not accept a claim, and then you do not have public hunting on your property. And so most farmers are switching to that because they don't like the hassle of having strangers show up and just demand to use those tags. And so that has really shifted over the years. I mean, that probably came into play about 8 years ago that they split this. And over time, it's just taken off. That's more the time I spend is with those people than these.
Okay. So, anybody have any questions? This is something we do every year. Yes, Elaine.
I just had a question. This is just mostly like with deer.
No, it's basically called the Wildlife Damage Program. So it's dealing with geese and bear and deer, elk and sandhill crane and cougars and wolves to some extent. There's regulations on all these as far as federal things, but the program, my job is to assist farmers when they have these kind of damages to figure out what's going to fit best to try to stop that damage on the crops.
I just said deer because I assumed it was deer.
Well, this one is a deer, so this
Yeah.
claim is a deer claim, but it does cover, other wildlife. It doesn't do anything with coons, it doesn't do anything with
Turkey.
the rodents, things like that. Does do turkeys.
Oh, that's right, I forgot about that.
I was surprised, like, other counties, of course, had the crane issue.
Right.
But we didn't have any crane claims in that.
That's because cranes are still on the endangered species list. So I can do things like get scare devices sometimes, but again, it's a federal regulation on all this, and so it's very careful about residential and all that stuff. But there is a lot of crane damage, even Richland County has very, that stands down over there. But we really can't do anything that's there so.
You can't, basically, if you can't hunt it, they can't collect damage on it.
Right. The program is funded through the license, for these different wildlife things, and so that's what's funding it, so that, because it's not, they're not included.
So that, cause I was just questioning how they get recouped.
Unfortunately, they don't. I
Right,
mean,
that's a big issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's too much regulation around it right now, and wolves are very restricted also, but if they do wildlife deprivation, there is some funds available to try to help with that. It's a balancing act.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever had a wolf claim?
Yes, actually, 2 years ago, there was a farmer had lost some calves to wolves,
Where?
just north of town.
Really?
Or north of town, yeah. And it was just, it's something that, I have to be notified of and then pass it on to a specialist,
Yeah.
and they take care of it from there. But the state did make, I think it was like a $600 claim, it was a few calves lost.
Yeah. And the
North of
bear,
town.
and bear is most, a lot of it's hive damage, and then crop.
Huge.
Huge.
Yeah, very little crop damage here, up north, it's very, very much more common related to the cornfields and to it, but here it's mostly hive damage for beehives.
We ready to vote to approve this? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Okay, so you want to talk about the zoning ordinance status?
Oh, yeah, Jen and has been talking mostly with, the Nathan and the other people, huh? Riley on the zoning ordinance, and everything going on, we're switching over, they haven't gotten through the zoning stuff yet, we sent them some questions we had to, and so once we get more information back from them on what their opinions are on the ordinance, then we'll bring it back on the agenda. But there's no sense in talking about it because we need their input.
And for me, it's still helpful to, we're still talking about it, to in some way highlight or mark the stuff it's been changed.
Right, and that's what, yeah.
Right. Right, comprehensive plan.
I put the information in the folder and it's also in the admin folder. So. And, yeah, so. The next page has actually the actions and yeah, I scanned it in wrong, sorry. But, okay, like the action one, support creation of joint boundary agreement between the city of Richland Center and town of Richland. And ensuring transparency through that, and that's more the city township thing, so. Review the annual zoning code annually to ensure fairness of administration. Like, right now, we're updating it, and then that's something we should do, once we get the implemented, we should go look through every year, making sure. If there's any changes, the biggest thing is, a lot of times it's just the change in types of things, like. When the last time the zoning ordinance was updated, we didn't have people wanting to do distilleries and wineries and breweries. There's more ag business. We've got that the family that's doing that milk bottling plant up by Casanova. So it's things like that. We have to ensure that they can still be economically growth, but also still meet zoning code. So there's business changes, a lot more of the short-term rental thing, what's allowed, what isn't allowed. So that's, by doing it annually, we can make changes that need to be changed instead of making a huge change all at once. complete comprehensive update of the public GIS application, and data layers and zoning changes. We're working, that's where the land information comes into place. There's some things that we need to, look to put out there. The big thing this year we want to get out on the public is the zoning layer. Make that available publicly so that, have the disclaimer that you still should contact if you have questions, but at least they can look at it and say, oh, this is what it's zoned as. And we can go from there instead of, we get probably 6 to 8 calls a week about what it's zoned at. And if we don't have to always do that, they can look on the website to see that. Eventually we want to get once we get that layer, maybe another year work on getting the pulse layer, the sanitary layer. Once we get some stuff developed for that, it'll take a while. Put that on the county website. So we got revised GIS data management processes, kind of do that with the Land Information Council. We're updating the plan updating the grant we do every year, the plan we do every 3 years, I think it is. So like the number 5, which is update the farm preservation plan, incorporating new agricultural trends and climate change resilience. I think this is the year to do that with the new, we're gonna be updating the plan. So, yeah, you guys will have a chance to comment. If you want to see some things put in there.
When you guys start working on that with Southwest Planning, will there be some intermediate time for us to give input?
Yeah. We're gonna start out with the Towns Association, starting with the towns and then letting them know what's going on so they can have their input, and then also bringing in then there'll be public meetings, chance for people to come in. Definitely be brought here at least a time or two before we go. Number 6, develop and implement climate resilient strategies, including focusing on floodplain management. Tree canopy, not exactly sure what that one's looking at. I mean, I do, but I don't know. We do floodplain, we're kind of limited what this and allows to be done in those areas. But I think the one thing we've talked about, we need to update our floodplain ordinance. Make sure, I'm not sure about the tree canopy expansion. If you guys have some ideas, things we can work with, maybe like DNR forestry on, I don't know.
Yeah, part of the reason I wanted us to do a review in our meeting here is that some of this stuff is very general, and some of it, I mean, in theory, there's a lot there. You guys already have a workload, so I was wanting to make sure we at least look to see what we could tackle this year.
Mhm.
You'll be part of that discussion on how much resource we can apply to any of these.
Yeah.
We can't do it all at once.
No, like I said, like actions 2 through 6, we're working on through the different, actively working on.
And then the resilience group listed all these other recommendations, which again, we're just gonna have to prioritize.
Yep.
And figure out what might be able to be tackled this year.
Right.
I see some of this as a multi-year thing where you slowly get through it.
Yep.
Because you guys are busy.
Yeah. And you look on the resilience recommendations, where there's going to be, we worked with that group out of UW-Madison. And then now, I don't know if anybody's gotten a letter, or will be getting a letter, they're sending out, it's through the Crawford County Stewardship Program, or committee, or group, and there was a grant to do free well testing for, and so with our help, they're sending out letters to well owners. And
Something will roll out this spring.
yeah, it'll happen, like, they'll probably start, I don't remember which day the testing is gonna be, but they'll have, like we had before, the drop-off points.
Okay.
So that one is They send out letters and ask people who are interested in getting it done, and it'll be like the same thing, it'll be a 1-day test. Everybody take their well test that day and bring them, and then they'll be taken up to Stevens Point. So we're doing some of the things, it's, just like you said, it's gonna take a while to get to the point of getting everything done.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe once a quarter, we just do a quick look, see how things are doing. Any comments or questions from the committee on this?
And especially like with the, land information things, if there's things you'd like to see out available to the public or we're gonna develop, that's, like, Julie, I are really good to talk about it because we're on the Land Information Council. Or we talked about Frank, who's the county board member on.
What is it? Truck?
So, you know, if you've got anything like that, feel free to contact, you know, any one of us and say, hey, I'd like to see this being put on the public website. Or I'd like to see more information on it, because that's, we want to get as much available publicly.
All right.
The next one, we talk about the, so we heard about this, they're looking, okay. Dairyland Power Cooperative and TransSource are looking at, one of the things they're investigating is putting up a, what is it called, 765 kilovolt transmission line. They want to find a place to put it, and one of those thoughts was, one of the places is going through Richland, Crawford, and Vernon County. And so there's some kind of concern. So to give you an idea of the differences, we've got, like, if you go out towards Boaz, you look up on the hills before you get to Boaz, and there's that bigger transmission line. That's 161 kilovolt. So it's their tower's about 70 feet high and it's about 100 feet wide. Well, this other transmission line would be 150 to 200 feet tall, and the quarter underneath has to be like, it's like 250 feet wide. So it's taking a huge swath of land. And it's like Dairyland is going from Genoa to Bell, right now the proposed Genoa to Bell Center. And then TransSource would take over from Bell Center, go through Richland County over, and then go down into Whitewater.
Basically up to Portage south.
South. So right now it's in the talking stage. You listened in and so did Jen. And there's just some, what this resolution is asking for more information. What are more details? Where exactly are you going? You know, what does it involve? Because state statutes say that they should consolidate, either go along existing corridors or highways, rec trails, and then the last one would be the new. Well, this would be new, so it's like taking a swath 250 feet wide through a portion of like Richland County, and they're not supposed to build over houses, but you know, inevitably it's going to go over some houses, take out a bunch of trees, wildlife areas, and really don't want to be underneath those lines. So it's, and if you got it on your property, there's gonna be that area, you're not gonna be able to, it's gonna be hard for you to sell your property, I'm assuming. Make it, and so there's just.
Buy the property from you for it? Don't know that. Do you have a map of where?
Not exactly. It's a generalized map.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
This item is the reason I voted against the agenda.
Okay.
I'm wondering where this resolution came from, who wrote it, what entity wrote it?
I can speak to that. I've been following this because one of the possible routes goes right through Forest Township where I live. Some of my neighbors would be impacted, so I've been following this. And this resolution is similar to what Vernon and Crawford are putting forward. My township passed a resolution and mailed it off to Dairyland last month. And so there was help by some people who were familiar with how the public input section works. And so that's how these different questions were come about. If there's questions that you feel are not appropriate, we can edit. But the main thing is we're just asking for information. We're not even saying we're for or against. We just
Right.
want information.
Just ask.
All right. I'm not opposed to asking for information.
Yeah.
It's a requirement to do that. But this is very negatively worded.
It
And
is.
it could give the impression that Richland County's, the Board of Supervisors has already made the decision to oppose it, when we haven't even heard the facts yet.
Yeah.
So,
If we change the wording to be less negative, is that something you'd be?
well, it's just the gist of the thing is negative. And as one who was involved in utility management in the 1980s during the days of the rolling blackouts, when Wisconsin was in dire need of more transmission facilities and there was no way to get them at that time. I just don't want to see us make our decision against a transmission line until we hear where it's going, what the facts are, and that's why I can't support the resolution in its current form.
Okay.
So you know why I'm voting against it.
Anyone else have a comment? Go ahead.
I do. Obviously, like he's saying, it does state in here, or it does state at the bottom that it's, basically just requesting information and putting the date that it's required by, but I agree. I mean, I think maybe at the resolution, it should state something at the top that this is requesting information only. So that if people start looking at this, the very first thing they're gonna see is, we're not approving something and it's not a done deal. We're requesting information. Because a lot of people, they're not gonna necessarily read all the way to the bottom and see that it says that, we're requesting information, either written, electronic, blah, 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 they're not necessarily gonna see that. They're gonna be instantly upset that it's passed. Right?
Well, if you, somebody want, Steve and I just took what was written and just,
No, I get it, but I
Yeah.
agree with him. I think
No,
there's gonna
I'm
be a
not-
lot of people jump to conclusions.
and if,
And-
if it goes like next month, that's fine. If somebody, you guys want us to come
Yeah.
down, so meet some time and we can sit down and go through it. Or you guys can go through it and figure out write down what you want to see changed. I can type those up because it's a Word document that we've got, and I can always revise it. If we've got other probably things you want to see worded differently, let me know and I can change that. I have no problem doing that.
More thoughts?
It's only gonna take one county to say no, it's not gonna happen.
Pardon?
I mean, all counties would have to be in agreement, or they're not gonna be able to do it anyway, but we just wanna be a part of the process, I guess, to make that decision, but other counties are so against it.
I think if it was going along, I think.
We're jumping the gun.
Yeah, well, that's why we need more information, and I think one of the things I would foresee if it goes along existing corridors, like existing, instead of going a new one, let's look at the existing corridors, they're already out, 100 feet wide. Going a little further wouldn't be as bad as going through a whole new section of county, just maybe using existing corridors is something to have them look at too, see if there's a way to use those to do the same thing. But that's my personal opinion, it's not a,
I guess another thing that amazes me is the people that will oppose a transmission line, but will extol the virtues of wind farms and solar arrays that are every bit as ugly. So it's just,
Well, do you want to make a motion to table this, to reword it, to soften it, or what do you want to do?
no, I just want to go on record as voting no. I don't even
Okay.
care if you change it or not. Just,
I do
that's
like,
the way I feel.
Yes.
I like her idea about rephrasing how it starts out though. Because when I was reading, I was confused too, so I had to kind of.
Yeah, and you kind of really don't figure that out until the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas.
Yep, and it does say March 16th is the date, so I'm assuming the other counties, they want information back by that date. We end up tabling it, then we're
Right.
delaying that for everyone else too, and maybe that's an issue, maybe it's not an issue, but,
Yeah, we could work on it a little bit, no problem.
As far as I know, each county or township or municipality are all working on it on their own. We don't have to all finish at the same time, I don't
Okay.
believe.
I just didn't know if there was a timeline that,
I still,
So the call that we had, I believe this period to request information is open through June. And it sounded to me like, you know, that was the time for communities and for individual landowners that were gonna be affected to reach out and
so
gather
it's
information
not like
and all
we
that,
have to
so we
rush
have-
to do it.
I could have a couple.
It's part of the reason this resolution is useful is that it'll help. A lot of folks don't know this is happening. And so this is one way to help folks, not, maybe they know it's happening, they don't know how to ask for information. And this is just a way to help folks become more aware. But if we want to reword this, we can work on a table until next month. What do you guys think?
sounds like we have time to do that, so.
I'll move to postpone it. I'll move to postpone until next meeting,
Okay. Did you want to second that?
so we can work on it. I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. McKee seconds that. More discussion? All right, all those in favor of postponing a month, say aye. Opposed? You good?
Yep, and if you guys, you know, I can meet with you too, but if you wanna just write down what you'd like to see changed in it, I can make those changes, cause it's a Word document, it's easy to. You know, Steve came in and had some changes, so I changed them and it didn't, you know, I can do it, make it.
Yeah, this thing's kind of fast moving and we learn a new stuff each week or two, so, and that's part of the reason I brought her some information. So we can keep it as a living document for a while until we finally decide it's ready to move on to the board. Yes, Blaine.
We hadn't even brought it up until you mentioned it at the last meeting. Isn't it true that we hadn't even discussed this at all until you mentioned?
In this committee, you're right.
Right, because
Right.
it's,
Right.
you know, out there in other communities.
Like I said, I brought it up because our township passed a resolution and one of the proposed potential routes goes through some of our neighbors. That's why I thought we should mention it.
So when they passed it, they approved it going through that area, the proposed area? Is that what did they pass, I guess?
It was a resolution asking for information.
Asking for
just like
information,
this.
okay.
Yeah. That's all we can do at this point.
Is there a map available of the current transmission lines and their capacity?
I don't know if it's got the capacity, they sent me, they had there's several maps in here, I don't know, I can see if I can get them. Here we go, this one, I don't know if I can copy and paste it out of here. The existing ones, and then the proposed changes. I can see if I can derive what we need out of there. I can maybe put it in the admin folder. You guys can get the committee admin folder. Did I have to put it in there?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Mr. McKee.
To me, I don't have enough information to make any decision on any of it.
Right.
I
That's
mean,
what
I
this
don't
is.
know where it's gonna run.
That's why we're asking the questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what all these
It's
questions
set
at
up,
the end are.
And the end.
Yeah, because even the maps we got of where they're proposing is just those. So it's
Very
not,
vague.
very vague.
Well, and number one on that list of, these are the things we're questioning, is a map of eligible existing transmission lines. That's the number one thing, is where are the existing lines? So this is a list of all the things that we're wanting the information for. So all we're doing right now is asking for information.
Ideally,
Yeah,
the existing corridor is the way to go,
Yep,
but Wisconsin is so short on interstate highways, which is probably the best corridor already existing, but we don't have them.
yeah. The only map, official map I've seen so far, basically is a straight line from Bell Center to Portage. And so it's just extremely general. The actual routes, like you're saying, there's all kinds of low voltage ones everywhere. And so that's why we're asking these questions.
Yeah.
you know, I think, oh, which.
Any other questions, comments? We decided to put it off a month and
I agree with
did it
that.
a bit.
Might get this. Like this one.
Okay,
So
I
we
guess
just vote on table.
we did vote, I
Did
thought.
we vote?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vote on tabling?
I have a motion by Perry, second by McPhee. I don't think you voted on it.
Oh.
Yeah, we did, you seconded.
Just do
Yeah,
it
we
again.
did vote.
We did.
Yeah.
But again,
Additional discussion, but then no vote.
All right. Whether this is the first or second time, all those in favor of postponing month, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. I'm gonna listen to the recording. Okay, correspondence. Anything? Future agenda items. I guess we'll be revisiting this, and then do you think we'll have stuff back from the attorneys on the,
We'll find out a little closer.
if there is, then that could be on there.
Yep, I don't, question for you, Trish, every year we do that grant for the joint allocation grants for the staffing, do I have to bring that to the committee anymore, or can I just go?
Or it's just like something we just do every,
It's part of the budget, we say we got so much money,
it was approved in the budget, we shouldn't have to.
yeah, it will be approved in the budget.
And it doesn't have to come through here.
Okay, so if it doesn't approve for the budget, then
So it won't be an agenda item.
no, that's why I want to double check, because it's like, otherwise I have to get going on it, because it's due this date by the 15th of April.
Anything else anyone on the committee wants to put forward as an agenda item? Okay. All right, let's adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Zero. Sorry.
Fleming?
And then who did? Oh, Ms. Hendricks. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, all right, we're adjourned.
So.
Yeah.
Because typically it's.
see,
No, it's all the way back out.